market articles, and I don't know what just happened to my router. My router's connected to a tower, everything's good to go, and I just was in the comments here on the computer talking to some guys, and boom, that was it. No more internet. So let me see here if I can get this thing running real quick for a second. All right. You've been offline for a while, no duh. Not connected automatically to the network. Apply fixes. Well, let's see if this works. Man, technology never never works when you need it. Network is not plugged in or properly. Well, I just got a bunch of notifications, so the internet's working now. Well, there we go. I just clicked on something. All right, so I will be able to read some articles here. I just got to re-pull them all up and everything. In fact, let me get into my live real quick here so I can actually read some of these comments. So much for getting in here professionally. Click here so I can actually read some of these comments. So much. All right, so let's go over to the comment section, see who's all in here. We got Cheap Freight Hauler. He's in here real early. We got Pigtail. He's in here. He said, "Yo, what's up?" If you guys want, I don't know how it works with the YouTube live, but I did put a link down in my community post for this live. The reason I did that is to try to keep, most of the time in the community comments, the only people that really see it are, people that are subscribed and whatnot. So I didn't want any crazies coming in, per se. We got Motobum. He's in here. He's in Virginia, of course. Let's see. What did he say? You're either in or you're out. LOL, you're in. Yep, I'm in right now. So we're good in here. Let me see if I can paste. Can I paste the link? No, I cannot. All right. So we got that out of the way. We'll wait a little bit. I guess I'll just conversate with whoever's in here real quick. Um, See if we can't get. Okay, everyone's starting to come in. We'll see if we can't get a good amount of people in here, because I'm just going to really go over, I don't know, nonchalantly, the problems that I've had trying to reinstate my authority here, because every once in a while, like if I talk to a driver at a truck stop or whatnot, or in the comments section on one of my videos, there's constantly people saying, "Get your authority, get your authority, get your authority, get your authority," and well, it's just not that easy right now in 2024. Not only is the insurance so screwed up, the rates are literally ridiculous. I don't have no accidents. I've had Progressive previously before. All right, so never had any claims with them. At least when I had my authority. When I had bobtail insurance, I had a supposed claim. I'm going to get into that real quick here too with insurance. So if you end up getting hit, ran into, or whatnot, first thing you should do is, of course, get the guy's information, get the company information. Try to contact the company right there, then and there. Of course, if it looks like one of those no-name fly-by-night carriers, you're taking a chance in not reporting it right away. But as long as you can get the police report or whatnot. See, I was in New York City when it happened, so the police weren't showing up. But if you can get a report, that's probably the best thing you can do. But try to get the company to pay for it first. All right, go to your own auto or your own, I guess, truck auto body shop or whatnot, or repair facility. Have the work quoted out and send the quote to the carrier that hit you. And if they take care of it, they take care of it. That's great. If not, then I guess you're gonna have to go through insurance. But if you go through insurance, even though it's a $0 payout, all right. So I did not tell them I wanted a claim. I just informed them that somebody backed into the side of me, and that then I'm just reporting it just in case they don't pay for it. If they pay for it, don't worry about it. Don't even open the claim up or whatnot. Well, they went ahead and opened the claim anyway. And doing so, even though it was a $0 payout, I'm considered high risk at this point. So if you have someone rip off your mirror and they drive off, or they hit your hood a little bit or crack the hood and drive off, it's best to either try to go through their insurance company if they decide to stop. If they don't, if you have the two or three, $4,000 out of pocket to fix it, or if there's nothing wrong with the truck, don't go through your insurance company right now. It's going to cause you tons of problems and headaches in the future. So that's just going right off the insurance right off the bat here for getting your authority in 2024. It is the I can't even begin to explain. Like it irritates me so bad what happened with that whole situation. If you get your insurance in 2024, you're going to have hurdles to jump through, and it's probably going to cost at least twice as much as what it did pre-pandemic. Let's see. We'll read some of these comments here real quick. Uh, Wrong turn. Hey, man, can you fart on camera? Up here we go already. See, you be the next big father. All right. Anyway, Chief Freight Hauler. I have my authority. I want to encourage everyone to follow their dreams or desires, but I'll say anyone thinking of becoming an owner operator is not the time, and definitely not the time to start a new authority. So, yep, he totally agrees with me. I agree with you, Chief Freight Hauler. Let's see. Trucking with T-Bone. Always talk to an agent if there is one before the actual insurance company. They will advise you as well as they will advise you as well it being considered reported. Yep, that's basically what happened. Of course it wasn't necessarily after hours, but I couldn't get a hold of my agent, so I basically what I was worried about is it was already 2 or 3 days I haven't heard back from the company, or I guess the company that ended up backing into me. And I was getting worried. I was like, well, there's probably at least $3,000 or $4,000 worth of damage. I really don't feel like having to pay out of pocket for it necessarily, but I might have to. And I figured maybe my insurance company calling them or calling their insurance company might have made a difference. And that's where I screwed up, because literally later on that day, I got a call and in contact with the safety director of that company. So it just took like 2 or 3 days for them to finally get back to me, even after calling them and leaving a message every day. Which I guess maybe they're busy. I'm not going to give the name of the company out, but it wasn't Swifty or anything like that. But it was a Texas-based company. Let's see. We got Rolling with Ryan here. Portage. I'm guessing. No, I'm not. Oh, portrait. Yeah, we're in portrait mode right now. Why are we in portrait mode? Because that is the new awesome YouTube live stream. Because if I'm not in portrait mode, it just for some reason it doesn't seem to populate my notification properly, or it does get out, but I'll end up having like two people in here. When I do portrait, usually majority of the subscribers end up coming in here, along with some characters, I guess you could say. But it is what it is. What is the? Hold on, I can't read because it has the. Someone else comments. I'll be able to read. Let's do right here. What video is it that you go over your cost per day? That video was. Let me pull it up here. That was called 2024 Freight Recession Owner Operator Know Your Numbers. I'm pretty sure that was the video. That was the video that who was that? Marty. That's the video that I went over some of my numbers. It ended up coming out to, I think, $820 a day is my break even rate. uh, where I can pay the truck, pay everything. Now that was based off 2,500 miles, and it was based off of, I'm trying to think what was I think a dollar. I need to make a dollar 73 a mile. I think $1.75 a mile. That was the amount that I need to make a mile. So if I run if I run 1,000 miles, yeah, my costs are pretty high. So pretty much I have to keep running to, and that was also with my authority. That was my authority, guys. If I ended up getting my authority with the $24,000 insurance and everything, that's what that was going to be. Let's get back over here so I can read some of the comments off of here. Uh, have to do lives in prime time, not 3 a.m. Actually, you know what, Cheap Freight Hauler? That live that I did at 3 a.m. or whatnot when I was bored, that live actually got like over 1,000 views live. I don't know how, I don't know who was watching, but it must have been some other country or something. Uh, that is the most views I ever got on the live, and then it just continued. And then I got an additional 800 after that. So that was pretty interesting for a live. But that I didn't really talk. I did talk about trucking a little bit in that live, but it kind of went into people kept bringing up politics, even though I didn't want to get into it. Uh, let's see, T-Bone, you look thinner in portrait mode. Ha ha ha. Actually, I lost a little weight. I lost a little weight, T-Bone. I've been doing exercises. I got weights right here that I can lift when I'm driving and everything. I've been doing, I guess, what do you want to call it? Sit-ups or leg lifts. I've been going to the edge of the bed here when I'm sitting and waiting and lifting my leg. And I haven't exactly. I lost about 15 pounds, but I feel like I feel like I lost a little bit more weight than that. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it maybe the abs. The abs pulled in my belly a little bit or something. But I just trying to stay off carbs and everything. See, Cheap Freight Holler, to get more than 2 views. Oh, that's what he's talking about portrait mode. But anyway, so let me try to go over. I guess go from, well, since I've already talked about insurance, we'll try to keep on insurance a little bit here. So if you're getting your authority, all right, and you're searching around for insurance, the big problem is right now in the insurance industry, at least commercially, is Progressive is pretty much the name. Even if you go through another insurance company, see, a lot of these insurance companies that you go through are technically brokers. They're not actually the insurance company. They're basically brokers for other insurance companies, and they have a bunch of different names. I'm not even going to go through all of them, but what you'll find is majority of the time when they come back to you with a quote, it's going to be through Progressive. It's going to be through their underwriters or whatnot. And starting out, it's probably going to be the only insurance company you're going to be able to get. Now, I did go through Milepost, which, if I remember correctly, Milepost is part of Hathaway Group or something. I think it is the real estate mogul. And I got a quote for $52,000 on there. Now I'm going to call eventually to see if if there was something wrong with that quote, because that is off the rails. That quote, the $52,000 quote, I would see people from like Miami, Florida and stuff get a quote like that. So I don't know what exactly is up with that. I know one pitfall of having a newer truck is you have to insure it for its value, because it's worth like $165,000, and that automatically, the physical damage and everything, that automatically shoots the premium up pretty good. That's a big problem with that. Let's see. Let's see. Chris Roberts, get your authority in 2024. Oh no. Let's see. 2-4. Sup, Jack Knight, looking good, old boy. Thank you very much. Uh, what's the stream about? Oh, authority. Yeah, there. Yeah, we're talking about getting your authority in 2024. I was just going over insurance a little bit because I had a problem with Progressive with my bobtail insurance, and it's kind of screwed me, I think, with Progressive because now I'm looking at about a $24,000 uh, quote for Progressive if I reinstate my authority again. And I was kind of going over with everyone uh, about the various types of insurance companies that are out there that are really brokers. They're brokers. They're not technically real insurance companies. They're just brokerages for the larger insurance companies. And you're going to find out that Progressive is pretty much the number one in commercial truck insurance, and they're going to probably offer you the best rates unless you go to uh, OOIDA. All right, if you go to OOIDA, you'll probably get a better rate, but you're going to require to at least have 2 years. You're going to at least require to have 2 years experience, and I think being business as an owner operator is the same amount. I can't remember what their actual qualifications were, but I know you're going to at least have to have your CDL for 2 years. I'm pretty sure. Maybe it's 5. They might have changed it. I haven't looked into it. The reason I haven't looked into OOIDA is because well, pre-pandemic, most brokerages will not work with OOIDA. They're considered a uh, Class B uh, insurance per se. I'm not 100% sure what all that means. All I know is most uh, most brokerages want a Class A for their insurance. That's the rating system that they use. And what is this stuff? Chat GP? No, I don't want Chat GP right now. I don't know why I'm getting ads up on here. Um, the and that's the rating system that most brokerages use. So right now, I would imagine, considering most brokerages are cracking down on scams and having all these other requirements, I'd imagine OOIDA is almost useless right now for the majority of anybody that's having to work with the decent sized brokerages. I'm sure some of the smaller brokerages might take OOIDA, but right now with the way rates are and everything, you need every possible angle you can get to secure a well-paying load. So let's say I did get my authority right now, and I've worked with brokerages before because I previously had my authority, and I've talked to those brokerages, and it's not the fact that the brokers that I've worked with don't want to work with me. It's the fact that the back office, the safety and compliance department or whatnot at these brokerages, they do not they don't care that they had a relationship with me. They don't care that I ran hundreds of loads with them previously on my authority. All they care about right now is did your insurance not lapse per se, but did your insurance have a cutoff? Was there a period of time between you had previously having your authority and reinstating your authority? And of course there was. Whether that's a day, if that is a day, it is going to affect you. All right. There's some people that have stopped their authority and they plan on reinstating it here within the next few months or whatnot, and they're going to have the same problems. It's not whether or not you had no claims or anything, or you have a squeaky clean inspection record per se. It's about whether or not you kept that insurance continuously through your having your authority. And of course, I did not. Of course, it's canceled. And you know, I have some very good connections with some of these brokers, and you can't get a carrier packet through them. They pretty much flat out. I even talked to one of the safety and compliance managers at one of the companies, and it's all about uh, that. What am I getting, a thunderstorm right now? It's all about the scamming that's been continuously going on in here, and the FMCSA not doing anything about it. In fact, the FMCSA is disbanding some rules and regulations that are probably going to actually help the scammers out. The 30-day rule that hold your authority for 30 days until they have trying to think, it's called the like, not the cool down period, but the period that someone can step in and have a say whether or not you should have your authority. Like maybe you're scamming or whatnot. They're getting rid of that rule, or they're going to attempt to. I'm hoping they don't go through with it, but it seems like that's what's going to happen. But it's just going to make it more easy for these scammy companies to come in here and just start authorities up. From Lithuania, let's see, Iran. I've heard. Let's see, India. They're all over the place. Parts in Russia, Ukraine. Let's not forget some of these comments here. Um, you two own your own personal slave ship in 2024. Yes, I do. Too many trucks, not enough good paying freight. My direct customers are slow right now, and yes, that's the problem too. Direct customers are even having a slow go at it. Let's see, Jerome Jones. Let's go. So, who said that? Chris Roberts. He said, well, yeah, Christian Roberts. He said that even his direct customers are having problems. And you know what? I'm with Tyson right now, and even they have slowed way down. All right, they've slowed way down. They've been changing carriers. Their intermodal division. They've gone through 3 different carriers this year. Excuse me, and it's just to be honest, for me, I think it's just a matter of time before maybe my carrier gets kicked out, or not my carrier, but the carrier I'm leased to. It's just, it just seems like everything's going down in that direction. We've already had the quarter. Let's see, we've already gone through the first quarter. We've had Swift come out. We've had Schneider. We've had Pam. Oh, let's see, who else? We've had at least 3 or 4 other publicly traded companies, large mega carriers, come out and say that their first quarters were trash and that they don't think that they're going to get better. They actually came out and said that they're not going to get better, which is a very bad sign because usually what they do is they try to paint a pretty picture for the investors and they're not even bothering it. They're coming right out and saying that rates are dropped even in the dedicated division. Uh, even the direct customers, they are a lot of these direct customers right now, their costs, they're not sales are down. It's whole part of the economy. Sales are down for mostly everyone. A lot of companies, besides just in freight, a lot of other companies have came out and had a very bad first quarter. They did not hit their marks or whatnot. So of course, guess who's on the chopping block? First thing, it's going to be the transportation costs are going to be the first uh, line item on most budgets that are going to be on the chopping block. And like I said, that's going to affect a lot of mega carriers too, and it's going to trickle down. It's going to trickle down because you also have a lot of smaller carriers that also you know, they sub a lot of loads with these mega carriers. They're substituting loads back and forth and everything. And it's just going to be a trickle down effect. And that's why personally me in 2024, as much as I want to even, think about getting my authority or I should say reinstating it, it's it looks like it'll be more trouble than it's worth. More trouble than it's worth. Now, I could reinstate my authority and still continue with this direct customer here. I can still technically be leased onto this carrier and have my authority. Uh, in fact, I'll get a 6 cents boost, but 6 cents isn't going to cover my $23,000 added cost uh, you know, in uh, insurance cost. Now, I would still be able to have. I would still my reefer fuel would still be reimbursed or well paid for really. My reefer fuel would be paid for. My tolls would be reimbursed still. I would still have a lot of those benefits, but I would have the additional costs of insurance. Right now, I am paying $500 a month for bobtail insurance. All right, it went up a little bit after I dropped Progressive because they doubled my rates, but I went from being 425 for bobtail and physical damage and all that to now a little over 500. I think it's like 505. Uh, but once Progressive doubled my rates, it was going to be like 425 a month. I wasn't going to do that for bobtail insurance. Because uh, prior to that, I was paying like $1,100 a month with my authority per truck pre-COVID. So it was like right around $13,000 a year per truck. And now I'm being quoted. Well, now then again, those trucks were also cheaper. I do gotta admit that. I did not have them insured for $160,000, but still, I was expecting maybe at most 15 to $17,000, $18,000, not 20, like 23 and almost $24,000. Edwin, coming through the drop off like a bro. Let's see, Ryan's could be a scare tactic. Hey Matt, MG Lawns, yeah, Lawn and Landscaping. He's in the house. What's up, Matt? Uh, let's see, SST. Yeah, that insurance quote would be a non-starter. Yes, it is. Let's see. Good evening, all. Shannon Thomas is in the house. Roland Refrians. You don't pay insurance? What do you mean with that, Ryan? I don't pay insurance. I pay my bobtail and physical damage insurance was $500 a month, leased onto the carrier. But if I ended up going through my line items, if I started my authority, uh, I would be paying about a little over $1,800 a month for insurance. So I would go from 500 to 1,800 if I went and got my authority right now. Then I would have other costs because now, some of my costs are a little high, all right, because I use companies. I would probably use the same safety and compliance slash permit company that I used prior when I had my other drivers and everything. Even though it's just me, Why would I do that? Why would I spend $120 or $100 a month on that, or $1,200 a year? Because it would be done right. I wouldn't have to remember when my permits were up. I wouldn't have to do any of that. It streamlines my day. It gives me one less thing to worry about. So some of my costs, are a little bit higher. I could probably, if I did every single thing myself, the drug custodian and everything, I could probably knock my costs down to about 700, 750 a day. Um, Maybe get down to like $1.65 or $1.68 a mile. Um, but it just my time with my family, my stress factor, it's worth it for me to pay the extra, couple $100 a month or whatnot, or well, yeah, about 100 and so a month extra for those services. Um, let's see, Christian Roberts. I've run 6 loads in total this month. It's scary out there. Yes, it is. Now, Christian, did you run 6 loads because you just refused to run for that amount of money, or did you not, or did you only run 6 loads because I don't know? Let's say you have your new authority, and that's all you could technically get. Let me try to turn the screen brightness down real quick here because it's like blinding me. Function key. All right, that's better. Normally, I would have done this at the table, but I don't know. I just kind of wanted a different angle here. And like I said, I'm doing it. Well, I could do portrait too at the table, but let's see. Rolling with Ryan, I pay 18,700 a year, which that ain't bad. See, that's about what I was expecting to pay. I was expecting to pay about 18. Oh, the cord's stuck underneath there. That's why. I figured I was going to pay about at least 16 to $18,000. Now that I could have lived with. In fact, if I got a quote for 16 to 18,000, I would have maybe started my authority, um, and stayed like technically leased to this carrier and used them as like a brokerage practically, for Tyson loads. That's basically what I would ended up doing. But I was still see. It was kind of weird because I think I would have still get a settlement here. I would have to actually talk to one of the girls in the office just to check with that before, because when I first started here, there were guys with their authority starting out here. In fact, I think there's still 2 here in Pottsville, 2 left. And if I could swing the insurance payments and then at least get an inspection or whatnot, and you know, uh age my authority, that would be the best thing I could do because I would still be able to haul Tyson loads. And then every once in a while, when they either didn't have a load for me, or technically, because I'm allowed to use the empty trailer, I'm allowed to use the empty reefer. If I could get an extra load back on top of the being paid to come back, because they'll pay me empty. If I can get a load and come back, technically load it while they're paying me empty also, I could double dip. If I could double dip, that would make the insurance premium well worth it. Panorama box. Hey, is this place where I can make money easy and quick? Yeah. Is this the place where I need to pay to learn secrets for financial? Yeah. No, we don't do none of that crap here. I don't even have a membership. I don't even have a channel membership, to be honest with you. Um, So I'm not charging anything for any kind of information. In fact, most of my information is mediocre at best. I will be the first one to admit that. So far this live didn't really go according to plan, because the first thing I wanted to do was I wanted to read some articles, and I don't know what was going on here in the beginning, but I lost internet connection, and it didn't go as planned. I was going to read a few FreightWave articles. I was going to read a C.H. Robinson article that was really good, because, well, uh, C.H. Robbins was a big player in the market, them and TQL. And if they can come out and try to read the market and say that it's bad, it's bad. All right. Freightways pretty much they have a news company to run, I guess you could say, an information and technology company. And the more people they can scare into showing up on their page and buying their products to try to, you know, improve their odds, the more money they make. So, take some of the craziness from Freightways with a grain of salt, but for the most part, everything that they've written, in my opinion, has been kind of to the point. Uh, let's see, rolling with Ryan. Hold on, am I lost here? Isn't it normal for lease operators to pay their own insurance to cover uh, truck trailer load? No, no, I don't know. I never for lease operator, I've never had to pay cargo insurance. It's always just been physical damage and bobtail in the truck. Um, that's all taken out through. That's supposed to be taken out through your usually your percentage is what covers your cargo insurance there, Ryan. Um, I mean, there probably are some companies that do it separately that charge you cargo insurance, but I don't know if I would work with a company that adds that in there like that. I'm sure there are companies that do that, but I just pay bobtail and physical damage on the truck, and they cover the cargo. They take it out through well, I have a chart. I have a chart of my mileage pay, and I'm assuming that technically they're getting paid like $3 a mile from Tyson, and I'm receiving. Let's see. I averaged last year $2.68 a mile on all miles. So I'm assuming that they're getting the majority, or at least a decent 75-cent cut or 60-cent cut or something of the mileage pay. Um, but that's all included in I guess their cut that they take off me. So I mean, percentage wise, when I used to be at a percentage carrier, I was charged 25% and I paid bobtail and physical damage, and that's it. Everything else was covered underneath the carrier's whatever they paid, their cargo policy. Let's see, Christian Roberts, not new, been around for 4 years. I run mostly freight. Freight is just too cheap. I only run my customer freight. I'm looking for new opportunities. Yeah, that's the problem though. So is everyone else there, Christian. And uh, Ryan, they take their cut from the loads to cover it covers insurance. He then pays for the supplemental insurance for the bobtail on the side. Yep. Absolutely right there. Let's see, cheap freight hauler jackknife. The double dipping you're talking about is very dangerous. Oh, you mean see, you're right about that. The double dipping, because I would have to have. Well, see, I would have. If I could work with some of the brokers that I worked with, I would probably be all right. But the problem is, I'm going to probably end up having to work with a lot of TQL loads and things like that. And I'm willing, if I'm double dipping, I am willing to give up a couple $100 back to the broker and the customer if they can on both ends assure me to get unloaded in time. If they can unload me in 2 or 3, 4 hours or whatnot, I would be able to double dip. But if I get to some of these customers and Tyson ends up lining up another load for me to come back and pick up here in Pottsville, and I come back and let's say I drop in oh, let's see. Who's over here? US cold storage. Let's say I'm dropping in US cold storage and I get there and I sit there for 12 hours. That's when double dipping becomes a problem. Or, well, I'll have trailer interchange insurance, or they decide to put a hole through the side of the trailer, and that's when double dipping might become a problem because Tyson will be a little upset that they lost out on, have a damage on a trailer that's not technically their load. Now, if it was during their own load, yeah, they're not going to really have a problem with it. But now, when you're hauling somebody else's load, that's when they'll probably have a problem with it. That's when they probably would like to charge, $1,000 a day for that trailer being down or something like that. Um, but technically, that's what trailer interchange insurance is for. So, but you are right there, Chief Freight Hauler. I would be taking a chance with somebody if I end up double dipping like that. Let's see, SSI. The trucking industry clearly needs a new smuggling racket for the new century. Yeah, you're absolutely right. It already has a new smuggling racket. They arrive here every day. There, SST. Did you buy the truck from Kenworth? I bought it from MCH down in Fort Worth. Let's see, Dan Wick. Double dipping is only good in theory. Yes, it could come out and bite me in the ass. Rolling with Ryan. I pay 25% and they charge me insurance. Well, then you're not paying 25% there, Ryan. See that like I hate when the companies do shit like that. The last company I was with, they barely had to dispatch me, so they came out and they offered me a like an 18%, 18% on my their cut. Hold on. All right, this is a wifey. They offered me 18% instead of the normal was normal 20 and 25 were their I guess their normal base percentage. And since they didn't have to dispatch me, I did pretty much my own dispatch primarily and everything. They actually cut me down to 18%, and they still covered they still covered the cargo insurance and everything. AFC Transport. They're a flatbed and refrigerator carrier, and yes, they are a Chicago carrier, but they are not your normal Chicago carrier. That is for sure. I've had nothing but good things to say about them. Uh, Human smuggling is where the rates are at. Yes, ST. Yeah, as long that's the same thing like double dipping. As long as you get away with it, you're doing pretty good. Uh, let's see, SST. There's also money in hauling bricks. Yeah, we already heard about that one. Let's see, cheap freight hauler. I'm talking more from a liability standpoint. I don't think Tyson will want to haul someone else's freight on their trailers if they're paying around trip mileage. Yeah, you're probably right about that. I think that's a hush hush thing between the carrier and everything and us. Um, but I don't know. That depends. I would have to, like I said, I'd have to talk really deeply with the carrier here. Um, because if I remember during orientation when they were talking to the other guys that had their own authority, I believe that they were allowed to. That's why they had to get trailer interchange insurance. Well, besides the fact, um, but I think they were allowed to haul their own freight, and Tyson gave them the ability to haul their own freight. Now, I don't know if that changed, if when they came back empty, if they paid them both ways round trip. I assume they still do because I'm guessing what Tyson doesn't know doesn't hurt them. I would imagine that's kind of like how they play it here, but I'm not 100% sure. So, like I said, if I could double dip, I would, that would immediately cover the insurance costs. Um, But really, to be honest though, it might not even still be worth it. Like you said, it might not be worth it to take that chance or that risk of liability because what I have here, I am shielded. I am shielded from this horrible freight market. As much as I you know bitch and complain about what happens to me here and loads dropping off. In fact, yesterday I just had a load drop off. Um, I can pretty much guarantee that for at least 95% or 98% guarantee that I'll have a load tomorrow that's going to eventually, by the end of the week, and the end of my settlement, going to cover the cost of the truck and also allow me to cover my home costs and everything else. Because, well, like I said, I am reimbursed for fuel. I'm reimbursed for tolls, and I don't pay for reefer fuel. I have a separate card that they pay for the reefer fuel. Um, there's a lot of guys that are paying for reefer fuel. They're hauling these $1.65 a mile reefer loads and everything, or $1.20 a mile. Let's see. I was looking at loads from Allentown, PA, going out to California, Phoenix, and stuff, and they were barely paying over $1.20 a mile. I don't know anybody that, at least me personally, I don't know anybody that can run $1.20 or $1.30, maybe even $1.40 a mile, and you know not lose money on that load. People are like, I don't mind. I will run a load at cost if I can get into a better area, but I will not run a load like at a dollar loss or 50 cent loss or whatnot. Maybe I'll take it at a few cents just to cover fuel or whatnot. But there's literally loads that guys would be running under a dollar. They would literally be handing the broker a dollar for every mile that they haul the load. And I can't believe that those loads are actually moving because they're coming off the board. Now, somebody might be negotiating them up a little bit, but still, they're starting at a dollar a mile, these loads, and they're reefer loads on top of that. Chief Freight Hauler, no, I would not be running the MC. I would not be running their MC. What I would be is I don't know if they consider it lease, but basically they would turn into a brokerage for me. I would be technically like leased onto their brokerage per se, as a dedicated carrier for Tyson. That's basically what happened. I would still get my loads from this carrier or whatever. I guess you want to call it a brokerage or whatnot, and that's how I would get paid. Um, that's kind of weird. I'd have to see because I think they do still pay you in settlements. I wouldn't have to invoice or anything. So I don't know if they probably cover you as a subcontractor with their authority. I'm guessing because they would also technically, if I got my authority, they would pay me an additional 6 cents a mile on everything I ran. Um, but 6 cents. I mean, if it was 10 or 12 or 15 cents a mile, that would definitely at least be cover insurance. But an additional 6 cents, I don't know about that. Um, Plus all the other things I'd have to do. But as of right now, like I said, maybe it might be a good move for me to do that. That's about the only thing I'm thinking about maybe doing. If I do get my authority, it would be to stay here. But I would have to have a long talk with somebody in accounting first before I do that here. Because they are paying me an additional 6 cents. So and when it comes time to thin out the herd, I would imagine I would be one of the first ones to be thinned out, if you know what I mean. Uh, let's see. Do you pay IFTA tolls, etc.? I pay IFTA. I do not pay. I do not pay tolls. Tolls are reimbursed. I pay them, and then at the end of the month, I send the toll. I send the toll invoice in. Almost lost the laptop there. I send the toll invoice in, and I get reimbursed. Usually, my tolls have been ranging right around $1,000 to $1,400 a month, and that's mostly because I go over the GW Bridge. I do the Pennsylvania Turnpike and all that other nonsense that's really expensive. At about 8:30, we're probably going to, well, let's see. See, I start at 7:30. Maybe we'll go to 9 because I gotta go down to Allentown here, and I gotta deliver to Aldi's down there off of 309 down there in Allentown. Or is it 309? Yeah, off of 309 down there in Allentown, or outside Allentown, I should say. So that's a midnight, pretty much on the dot midnight, and even then, I'll probably be sitting there at the gate for at least a good hour before they decide to let me in. Let's see, Christian Roberts. My paid off truck cost me $1.62 to operate before paying myself at 1,000 miles a week. See, uh, Christian Roberts. See, me, I'm $1.72, I believe, maybe $1.74. I think I added a few extra costs in there, but I think $1.72. I'm at $1.72 at 2,500 miles. So at a dollar, I think I do it at a dollar. Let's see, it's on the phone right now. The file, or I'd pull it up. But the actually, I could probably look at the video to be honest with you. How about we do that? I will pull that up real quick. Um, Go to videos. Let's go down here. Owner operator. All right, all my expenses in. If I got my authority, now some of these I could probably X-nay off because, well, I probably would use, well, technically, I would use my current phone plan and things like that. But all in, my expenses for the month are $4,384, and that's also doing my average. Or no, that's is that for the month? Yeah, that's for the month. I think I'm looking at the right part. It's a little hard to do it on the video because I have to scroll through it. All right, at 2,500 miles, my costs are $1.73 a mile. Uh, let's see. I think if I go down to 1,000 miles, my costs jump from $1.73 a mile to like $4 a mile. If I'm at 1,000, they basically double. My costs practically double at 1,000 miles. So yeah, that's very very hard to pull off there with that. Let me get back to the comments here real quick. Quarterly IFTAs are due in 6 days. Thanks for reminding me. See, Christian, that is why I pay the money for a safety and compliance company. Because when I had, well, the two other drivers, including me, so three drivers altogether, remembering the permits on the trucks, um, remembering IFTA and all that. I mean, I could do it, I could write it down, but the problem is I was also driving at the same time, so it was just it's more time saving, and at least to me cost prohibitive, and instead of missing an IFTA payment or whatnot, to basically have a company do it for me. Let me change the color here because this blue is getting a little too spicy, I guess you could say. Oh, that's not the right remote. I think that's the outside remote. What the remote go dead? Oh, there we go. There we go. Yeah, the blue is just getting a little too, like I said, a little too spicy. Let's see. 373 and 309 is Sucon Valley. Yep, Sucon Valley. Yep, is the Aldi's located. Yeah, and you know what? I don't know why they line everybody up there like that. That place turns into a madhouse. And what's even worse is I have a delivery at supposedly 7 a.m. for what's the name of it? Iowa Valley Meats or something meats over there in uh, the Bronx. Um, what is that? Hunts Point. I have a delivery at Hunts Point supposedly at 7. So I'd imagine that Aldi is probably going to let me out if I'm lucky at like 3 or 4 in the morning, and then I'm going to be stuck in all that traffic there on the GW Bridge, and I'm going to probably be late to my appointment. But that place doesn't really give a crap about appointments. They'll just eventually unload me when they get around to it. Um, Trying to remember the name of that meat place there in Hunts Point. I want to say it's Nebraska meats. Yeah, there we go. Let's see, Mike. Mike, good evening from PA. Hey, that's pretty much where I am. Um, let's see, Danny. Allentown Aldi. That place is pure chaos. Yes, it is. The way that they call trucks in, and I guess the amount of room to back. I don't know. I really don't find it that hard to back in that place, but it's just you get those drivers that come in there and they just I don't know, they just cut behind you. Everybody's in a hurry. They park in the middle of basically the middle of the lot there, and you can't back into your door because they're inside at that little office trailer there trying to check in. But going back to getting your authority and everything, before I just keep sidetracking on all these comments. My personal opinion is I'm not telling anyone never to get your authority, but don't do it in 2024. And I have a feeling you're not going to be able to do it in 2025 either. Um, just even with a paid off truck right now, you're still going to be against the odds. All right, whether that be with brokers, whether that be with inflated costs that continue to rise, fuel is going back up again, and you're also going to be fighting a lot of guys. If WCF Invader was in here or whatnot, he could probably attest to this. Maybe Christian can, but even direct customers are cutting back on their rates. That's the reason why Swift, Pam, Schneider, and everyone. That's why they came out with such shitty first quarters, because right now we've already had a lot of direct customers renegotiate their contracts, and they're not budging. They're because they also, at least in my opinion, they also are going to see a fall in revenue, and they're also probably trying to make up some of that revenue from the pandemic. So it's like a perfect storm right now. Basically, we're seeing not only are we seeing a freight recession, but I think we're going to see a recession altogether. And I would like to say that for some reason, you would think that since this is an election year, we would be seeing some huge changes. Um, that things would, certain administrations would be doing some crazy stuff to get us out of this mess. But it doesn't seem like that's what's happening right now. I see some comments popping in here. My expenses are cheaper than yours, chief freight hauler. How's that? With what? Well, aren't you also double paying right now, chief freight hauler, to try to pay that truck off as soon as you can? Let's see, Christian Roberts. I haven't had any rate cut yet with my customer, which I'm lucky, but consistency isn't there. So pick your poison. Yeah, yeah, that too. They're going to be cutting back loads. So I mean, technically, it's not a rate cut, but it is, and that's kind of like what I've been going through too, Christian. Right now, is just the loads aren't there. I'm not doing the 2,500 mile weeks that I've been doing prior. To when I basically started here. When I was doing that, I was netting um, Probably here I'd gross about 8,000, and I would probably net after expenses like around 5. Maybe even more than that. Also, when I had my 9400, when I was grossing like the 8,000 to 7,500 to 7,200, I was able to net more because my truck payment was only $900 a month, not like $4,200 a month. Um, that like I said, if that truck would have lasted a little bit longer here, I would have been able to basically pay for a full rebuild. The problem was rebuilds. Well, it was still during the tail end of the pandemic, and rebuilds and kits and the astounding shop labor rates were just to think about putting $50,000 into a 9400. It still needed, some of the airbags are dry rotted. I had to replace the airbags, the shocks. Probably could have used a replacement. The cab mount, the one cab mount I had to replace. I spent like 5 grand on engine mounts. All the engine mounts got replaced. Things like that. I still had a lot of work. I might have had to probably put kingpins in it, down the road there. Um, to put that kind of money in that truck just wasn't. I couldn't really justify it. And plus, I was having a hard time getting rebuild loads because, well, the market was tanking, and a lot of these banks saw the writing on the wall. In fact, a lot of them are held with they're stuck with these trucks. Just held with all this debt that people are going bankrupt on, and the repossessions are ridiculous right now. That's why equipment's also so cheap. It's just so plentiful. Now, besides all this, guys, if you're coming into 2024 to get your authority, here's a few things you're going to have to do. One, I would highly recommend, anybody that comes in to get your authority right now, I would recommend paying all your consumer debt off, and or at least pay majority of it off. I mean, of course, you're probably going to still have a mortgage payment and everything, but that money is going to have to be allocated back into your business. See, right now, I'm only paying myself $800 a week. Now, luckily, my wife also works, and she makes about $800 a week after everything is said and done. So we're not hurting so bad. All right. But I tell you what, there's definitely nothing crazy, nothing new, crazy buying going on at the house right now. Most of my money is getting funneled back into the business to basically pay off debt. I have tons of business debt still left over from my previous go at this with my authority, and I'm keeping those payments up. I'm not going bankrupt. All right. As far as I'm concerned, the company's already been aged. Uh, I get credit card offers from American Express and everything, Chase all the time. But putting yourself in debt doesn't necessarily mean that you're running a strong business model. All right. Just because you can get it doesn't mean you need it, per se, because that's how you get yourself in trouble. But like I said, if you're going to come into this, you're going to have to sit down with yourself and your partner, unless you're single or whatnot, and you're going to have to come out with what you're going to pay yourself, especially in this market, and what you can afford to live off of, because everything else is going to have to go back into the business. If you want to make it through 2024 with your authority, or even just as an owner operator, you're going to have to come up with a plan. You're going to have a plan in place. And I highly recommend, I know everyone gets, uppity about, Dave Ramsey, but I highly recommend you watch some Dave Ramsey. Just watch some of the episodes where he goes and talks to people about their debt. There's people that make $200,000, $300,000 a year, then they're up to they're having problem making payments. Um, that's like how insane things have gotten, like with consumer debt and everything. And the same thing especially happens right now with owner operators and just truck drivers in general. And that's I kind of that's this is kind of how I wanted to start the video. Um, but like I said, you're going to need to at least have some kind of a 3 to 6 month safety net to be able to endure, the days of like what Christian Roberts said, the days of slow freight or no freight. All right. Sometimes it's not going to be worth it to take that dollar-mile load from Allentown out into California and hand the broker a dollar every mile you drive. All right, it's just not going to be worth it. And that's like I said, that's when a little bit of savings comes into hand. Guys that are coming into this right now that are because you already see it that Lone Mountain is all over Facebook right now because there's not people aren't buying trucks. Even though they're cheaper right now, Lone Mountain is all over Facebook right now. They have trucks available, but they can't get rid of them. All right, and this is where it becomes a real pet peeve of mine. A little bit about Lone Mountain and things like that. I know it helps guys get into the game, but I think there needs to be a little bit of a bigger boundary. Like technically there is right now. There's a bigger boundary to get in. But like still, there's guys with credit cards and things that can still jump into this with no idea what they're doing, and it just not only does it hurt themselves in the long run, but it also hurts the market. Also it basically adds overcapacity to the market that already is so saturated with trucks. And like what Christian Roberts said, he simply he has a dedicated customer, and he simply is running possibly running every other day. That just sometimes the loads aren't there. He's not getting the load volume that he was. And that's also the same that's happening to me here at Tyson. I am not receiving the low volume that I had. Uh, let's see. Rolling with Ryan. Where is fuel going up? It's been way down for me for the last month. Uh, I don't know. In Pennsylvania, it's gone up at least like 15 cents here lately. Um, Maybe it's just mostly a Northeast thing. But overall, fuel has been jumping a few cents here and there. It has been steadily going up. I don't think we're going to see any huge changes rolling with Ryan, where it's going to jump like 15, 20 cents overnight. But we're going to see I think, a steady increase of a penny here, a penny there. Um, let's see, Neil Clark. I started mine and backed off in January, looking at cutthroat market. Yes, right there, Neil. That's exactly what's going on right now. It's a cutthroat market, and on top of that, all the scamming and new regulations and requirements that brokers and their safety team, or well, safety and compliance team are asking for, are really going to really stick it to anybody getting their authority right now. It's going to be, excuse me, it's going to be a huge uphill battle. And that's pretty much what backed me out. As soon as I started having brokers tell me that I wouldn't be able to get a carrier packet pretty much from them, that I have to at least have a year in, or that I need inspections. Some of them had some weird requirements about insurance and things like that. They wanted pictures. Like I would have been perfectly fine offering pictures. That's one way you might be able to get through with the brokers. You might be able to have to take pictures, video. You're going to have to basically show them. It's going to be basically a huge invasion of privacy, but you're going to have to basically show them the inner workings of your business uh, to possibly secure carrier packets and whatnot. Uh, See, Christian Roberts. Even a cheap truck is a liability right now. Any new expenses could end you. Yep. I am so tired of people running these cheap loads. They need to go out of business. And you're absolutely right. And you know what? I'm sorry to say who the people are, but they have a lot lower costs than us. And the reason they do is because they run illegally. Look at all the ELD BS that's been happening with some of these Chicago carriers and whatnot. Uh, they're resetting people's logs and everything, and there's no way I or any of you can really get away with that. I mean, WCF earlier on in Snorlords Live was trying to say, well, maybe I could get away with, going off duty, resetting my clock, so I get a reset. But the problem is, they will find us. All right, they will somehow find us doing the same things that those guys are doing. Why? Because we're here in this country. Those guys are operating overseas in Lithuania or Ukraine or whatnot, and they have immunity. They are not worried about the FMCSA or the law enforcement coming after them, and they're not going to come after them. They're going to come after us. They're going to come after us for a clearance light. It's just what happens. A lot of times, sometimes the DOT officers, they won't even bother with some of these companies because they don't want to have to deal with the language barrier and all that. They don't want to have that guy coming to them inside the scale house every 15, 20 minutes trying to interpret what's going on. They just don't want it. They won't even deal with it. They'll just let those guys go by and just look away. And then when you come through, they will hammer you. All right. I've seen it happen already before. Hey, Pneumatic Bread is in the house. What's up, Pneumatic? Ho- hopefully, Pneumatic, you do not stop at the Freightliner dealer. I do not want you to go to the Freightliner dealer and buy an overpriced mirror. All right, go to the truck stop, get one of those sticky mirrors, whatever's left there, and if you have to, get some of that. I don't know, that JB 1000 or whatever, or that GUI stuff. Just put it on there and put the mirror on, so you pass DOT. So you just have two mirrors and order a mirror off of eBay or whatnot. You can probably order two mirrors or four mirrors for the price you would pay for a Freightliner mirror right from Freightliner. So, and it's not that bad to do. If I remember correctly, there's a panel. There's one little panel I think you can pull off and get to the bolts on a Cascadia, if I remember correctly. Let's see, Christian Roberts. Every other day, LO, I ran 6 loads in 24 days. Okay, well, I was trying to have a decent outlook there, Christian Roberts, about Christian, about that. I have two direct customers. Yeah, so that's horrible. I thought maybe that was on your own accord, but if that's how things are being dished out, that's a pretty shitty time there. So there, even Christian in the chat here, he has his own authority and everything, and he has two dedicated customers. He's having a hard time. He's having a hard time getting loads. He ran, what did he say? Uh, he ran 6 loads in 6 loads in 24 days. I haven't ran a load. Let's see, I didn't run a load Monday because they forgot about me, I guess, dispatch, even though I asked them before the weekend to set me up for something. Weekend dispatch can't do nothing. So I didn't run Monday. Tuesday, I got a load. I show up here, and the load is in transportation, the system saying that it's loaded or whatnot, or that it should be loaded. But on their other system that they use to load the trailers and everything, someone did not close out the load, probably a salesman or something. And since it wasn't closed out and finalized, they never loaded the trailer. So I missed out on another day of pay. And then now I'm doing this wimpy little load here, to Aldi, and then over to Nebraska Meats over there in Brooklyn, New York. So Hunts Point. So it is what it is. I should be lucky. Like I said, I'm slightly shielded, but I should be lucky that I'm not having to endure all the BS and bullcrap that some guys are having to endure with their own authority. And it's just a shame that things have gotten that bad. Let's see, Pneumatic Brit. Schneider is shorting in the morning, and they are paying for it. Oh well, there you go. Pneumatic Brit. That was crazy swipe from that other truck. Yeah, you know what though? You're lucky. That's all it was. Um, it could have been a lot worse there, Pneumatic Brit. You could have had a head on, or a pretty good side swipe. Just be glad that that's all it was, especially considering you drive tanker. A truck going down the side of you, ripping open the entire tank. I know you do hazmat, so I would much rather have my mirror ripped off than either melt in a vat of acid or be cooked to death. That would really, like, that could have been a lot worse there, Nomadic Brit, a lot worse. Oh, let's see, Danny. Watch someone get a fresh quack in the dock next to me the other night, only to a phone call and saying they didn't have the time to deliver. Yeah, yeah, right there. They could just call up. They just call up their Lithuanian or their Ukrainian buddy, and they say, "Hey, can you put driver number 2 on for me?" And they put driver number 2 on, and you go down the road. And then you just say, "Hey, I dropped him off at the house," or whatever the heck they do. I don't know how they sort that out. You just had Trident there. Was it right? Trident was a trucking company that just got the driver had an accident, and I don't even think it was like 100% his fault, or maybe it was. I can't remember, but he got an accident. Think somebody got hurt or killed, and they're up Shit's Creek right now because that's what they did. They did the same, hey, can you add driver number two? And that's what they did. Like, if you're going to do that stuff, y- you need to be like, see, I ran paper logs and everything. You kind of have some accountability for yourself. If you're tired, you need to still pull over and take an hour long nap or 2 hour long nap or whatever it is to get you sorted out before you go back on the road. And you can still run hard, but you gotta, this ain't the Wild West days with your toothpick. You guys remember the toothpick tricks that all the old guys used to use? You dip the toothpick in some stuff and put it in your mouth and all that crap. Those days are long gone. So if you're resetting your logbook and shit, you better be able to run those miles. And not put anybody else's lives in risk, your own and let alone everyone else around you. But see, so that just goes to show you that the log ELDs ain't working. All right, or at least for some people, it's not working. And if they would just lighten up on some of the logbook rules, or I should say ELD rules, we probably wouldn't have some of the bullshit that we have. Like I should be able to, if I'm like let's say an hour outside of Pottsville and I wanted to go home and I'm running out of hours, I should be able to go into PC and go home. It should be fine for me to PC to my house. Fine, within like a certain amount of hours. Like I shouldn't be able to drive from like South Carolina to my house, but if I'm like only two hours away or whatnot, I should have the liberty to be able to PC to my house without having to worry about DOT having a problem. All right. My opinion, I think we should have the same clock that Canadians do. That's just my opinion. I think we should be able to drive 12 hours. I think we should be able to run a 16-hour clock. You still would be able to take the splits. I think the splits should be a little more convenient. Um, and yeah, that would probably solve a lot. That would at least be able to put more money in my pocket, and I'd still be able to get rest because I'd still be able to take the multiple different kind of split sleeper breaks. Let's see. Ryan Sims. Yep. Start dozing off. Time for a snooze. Yep. Well, I remember the good old paper log days, guys. If you guys remember them, you get tired, you would just pull over. You would find a rest area or whatnot. You would pull over, and you always, you would just play with your logs a little bit, your logbook, and you would always have time to sleep without having the carrier or anybody else get on top of you or being late. And those days are gone. Now it's like the way I say it, it's like you know, trying to think, of the game. But anyway, it's like playing Need for Speed now, where you got to go through the checkpoints. You have a time checkpoint you have to go through, and that's basically what the electronic ELD has done to us. Cheap Freight Hauler, I'm back. Oh, I didn't never know you even left. Um, Ryan Smith, you have 4 hours to play with. Yep, yep, that's pretty much what it was. Um, and it's just those days are those days are gone. But let's see, what time is it? It's about 9:45. We're gonna wind this down here. I mean, if anybody got any comments or maybe want to know about my cost or anything, that's this time to probably put it in the comments. We're gonna try to see if anybody has anything that they want to maybe add into this live to help some guys out. Um, it didn't go as properly as I would like it to. I did put a invite down in my community post. I was hoping somebody would pop in and we could probably throw ideas and things back and forth off each other. But it never happened. I probably should have just sent the message out directly to like Cash or maybe Fate, but or maybe even DIY. I don't know if he had time because this was kind of set up earlier in the day, so I figured maybe somebody would pop in. But like I said, I'm gonna have to get going here about 9 o'clock. I like to be early and you know make sure I have my ducks in a row when I show up to shippers and stuff and receivers. Let's see. Okay, cheap freight hauler. My expenses are higher because I aggressively paying the truck down. Also, my insurance is higher because my own authority. Yes, your insurance is higher because you're on authority, and mostly because you're aggressively paying the truck down. If I was not cheap freight hauler, if I was not paying all the other debt that I have sitting around from my previous stint of having my authority, and I'm still paying for trucks that I do not own. I'm paying for the 9400 that I do not own anymore. I am paying for um, what the hell was that truck? I'm paying for a Cascadia. That Cascadia is almost paid off though. I think I got like 5 more payments or 4 more payments to go. I have a Cascadia that I'm paying for that that I'm not gonna that I don't have anymore. Things like that. So we'll I ended up selling the Cascadia, but I still didn't get enough money to pay off the loan. Luckily though, the loan company just rolled the loan into a personal loan, and I'm paying it that way. Even though I don't have the asset, I don't have the 9400 too. They did the same thing with the 9400. 9400 I sold for scrap pretty much, which I think is still sitting in the same yard in the same place. So I don't know. Maybe one day I'll buy it back. But like I said, there's probably about $4 or $5,000, maybe $10,000 worth of work to make that thing nice again and put it back on the road before I even put an engine in it. So I don't know. Maybe that truck might make its way back to me one of these days. But trucks are so cheap right now. They're so cheap right now. I could easily get a nicer truck if I decide to hire another driver or anything or something something happens here. Uh yeah, 845. Yeah. Let's see. Cheap freight hauler. I thought about popping in, but busy. No, it's all right, man. It's all right. Let's see. Christian. My insurance was my only saving grace right now, and I have Progressive. Yeah. Well, you're lucky. It's still pretty cheap. But the problem is, I don't know. I don't know how the insurance is very weird. But I guess technically, since I actually called up and talked to Progressive, I'm considered high risk now, even though I had a $0 payout. They consider that a claim. I don't know. Maybe after a year here, maybe I'll be able to get cheaper insurance. Like I said, I would be happy if it was 16,000, because I understand that the insurance is going to be cheaper. I mean, more expensive, just due to the fact the truck's value, but not 23 or $24,000. I could swing 18, I'd be perfectly okay with. 16, definitely. But to go from paying 13,000 to paying 23 is a huge jump. And that was per truck, you know. The big truck just pulled out over there. I was wondering what that noise was. Let's see, Chief Radar. I just dropped another 10 grand a day on the truck. Yeah, well, there you go. Like, see, I'm not able to be. I'm dropping that 10 grand on other things. All right, I got other trucks that I'm still paying for. Um, my company credit card finally, my $22,000 company credit card is finally down to $600. All right, $600. And I would have used that credit card probably for a used engine if it wasn't all charged up, because I originally used that credit card because I was having engine problems with one of my other trucks. Well, I had the Cascadia I had a engine problem with, and then in turn I also had an engine problem with a my stupid buy. It paid for itself. The truck paid for itself, but I bought a Max Force Pro Star, and it did pay for itself. But I ended up I could not take the 15 grand and put an EGR in it. That truck, I don't know. I couldn't see spending 15 grand on that truck and then possibly still having problems with that Max Force engine. But I ended up paying some repairs for that too. So that racked up that credit card real quick, and it just wasn't available to me when the 9400 had a problem, because I also used that. I also did a few repairs with that credit card too on that 9400. So, but that's finally paid down. Um, So when I finally get done with all my credit card debt here, my business credit card debt, and slowly catching up with my taxes here, hopefully I can start making more payments on this truck. Um, but like I said, I still owe about 10,000 or $8,000 on that 9400. So maybe I'll pay that off first. That'll free up about $590, $600 a month. Oh, let's see, Chief, 12,000 left. Should be done by the end of May. There you go, Chief Freight Hauler. That is the way to do it. And then you can start putting that money away, investing it, packing your coffers full of money. Hopefully, it stays good. If things stay going good for you. But you know what? That'll also give you. You'll also be able to breathe. You'll be able to relax. Like right now, if I had like a couple bad weeks, I would be having a big problem. Like I can't take multiple weeks off right now with this truck payment. It can't happen. Now I can call up PACCAR and ask for them to possibly move a payment to the back of the loan. But I can't do that all the time. I'm not only allowed to have like once or twice a year allowed to do that. As long as all my payments are on time. But that's a saving grace. But so far I've only done it once. So uh, let's see, Christian. You know what really sucks? If you need an exit plan right now, company jobs aren't plentiful. No, they're not. Let's see, your equipment is getting cheaper and cheaper, so when you sell it, it might not cover your debt. You're absolutely correct. And you know what's also bad, Christian? The company jobs, they're posting. They're still posting the same jobs they had posted weeks ago or months ago, but they're just not hiring. And when they do hire, they can't guarantee you hours. Because I've already done it. I was thinking about letting this truck go there for a little bit. I was thinking about just saying, screw it, let this truck go. And it was just a stress that was getting to me here a few weeks ago. Like I wasn't even putting out YouTube videos. I was just so irritated with how things are going. But now I kind of realize that where I'm at is the best place to be. Even with not having a constant steady flow of loads. Um, I couldn't ask for a better place to be right now, probably. I could try to go to Landstar or one of those other places, or who was I thinking about going to? Oh, it was a big flatbed company besides Landstar. Um, wasn't Maverick or anything like that. It was another high end flatbed. They run all the mega loads, all the supersized stuff. Really prestige carrier. Bennett. I was thinking about going to Bennett. But the flatbed is utterly ridiculous. I can't believe how flat, especially where I live right now. I cannot believe how bad flatbed is right now. Um, it's so bad. I can't believe guys are doing flatbed for what it's paying right now. And I'm pretty sure cheap freight haul was it cheap freight haul or was WCF? I think it was WCF that could back that up. See, Christian, the longer you wait, the more of a gamble you're taking on your future. Yes, you're absolutely right there. Let's see, Marty. Change the 14-hour to a 9. No, I don't think so. No, stay where you're at. Yeah, you're right there, Wallace. Stay where I'm at. No, I'm going to. Will your truck run 90? No. My truck is stuck at 75 mile an hour, and I cannot change it even if I wanted to because I'd have to change the tires over. The dealership will only set your speed rating now. I mean, I'm sure I could find a dealership that would do it, but the three Kenworth dealerships that I went to so far, they will not change my speed faster than what the tires are rated. And I got tons of life still left on these Bridgestones, with over 100,000 miles on them, and I'm not changing them anytime soon. So I'm stuck at 75, which doesn't matter anyway because I have a camera in the truck that it's the same Sarah camera, so it yells at me about speeding and everything else. So, I'm not really speeding anyway. I mean, I guess if I get down to Texas and whatnot, I guess is 75 mile an hour going to be fast enough? Not really, but it is what it is. Other than that, we got we got nobody else that needs any help or wants to ask a question. Anybody? Let's see. Here we go. Yeah, Christian. Don't worry. Speed limiter ruling is coming anyway. Yeah, probably. You're probably right there. And to be honest, if I don't know how they're doing that, if they're going to make manufacturers, my truck is connected to PACCAR. All right, so I can pull up the codes and things on it and see where it's at because it's got, I don't know, the PACCAR Connect crap on it because it's probably on there really for PACCAR to find the truck when they decide. not to, if I decide not to pay or whatnot. But I'm pretty sure they could download. I think right over the cell towers. I think they can download parameters into the computer. So when that when that speed limiter thing comes out, who knows? I might have an update one day, and next thing you know, I'm stuck at 65 mile an hour or 55 or whatever the hell they decide to stick it at. But Gentry and Sons is on. Let's see, what is he live? No, he's not live. 5 DOT state troopers got us. They found something. Okay, well, I knew that was bound to happen eventually for him. But anyway, um, yeah, we're gonna call it here. It's just about 9 o'clock. I'm gonna have to get ready to get out of here and pick up my load and everything, my relay load. So thanks for stopping by Jackknife TV. I hope I helped somebody out here with the whole whether or not you should get your authority in 2024. I hope whoever watches this later on actually goes through the comments and see what guys are dealing with. I was hoping, like I said, to bring a panel on, but it just never happened. But maybe we'll try doing this again sometime. Maybe I'll try to send them invites out directly. And yeah, if you can, just go over there and hit the like button. If you're new to the channel, if you could please subscribe if you liked anything that transpired here in this live tonight. And yeah, like I said, I try to be as truthful and direct as possible. I don't want to try to spill any BS out. I'm not trying to sell any products or any programs, except for some of the stuff that's in my description. Other than that, it's just how I interpret it. When I went to go reinstate my authority here, I sat there, did my numbers. That's the first thing you need to do. Do your numbers, every single cost down to cell phone, um, IFTA and everything. You gotta break your costs down to the very last couple $100 or dollar amount, and then you also have to look at your personal expenses. And go ahead, call some brokers. All right, tell them that you're a new authority. They're probably going to ask for your DOT number, but just be like, look, I want to make sure when I get my DOT number that I'll be able to get a carrier packet. Call some of these brokerages up, talk to them, ask for their safety compliance compartment or whatnot. Be like, hey, I'm a new broker. I mean, a new carrier. I want to work with you. What are your requirements? Will you even work with me? Do you need inspections and so on and so forth? And see how hard it's going to be for you to run alone. Sure, you might have a dedicated customer. You're still going to have to get a backload, guys. If you get into a certain area and you can't work with those brokerages, like how like CH Robinson, I think they went up to 6 months. I think they're requiring now. If you get into an area where CH Robinson dominates that area, you're going to have to deadhead a couple 100 miles maybe to get out of that area and get a different load so you can get back, and that's cost money. So just think about it, folks. If you're getting into this and you're trying to get your authority, don't listen to anybody else. Don't listen to the guys that say you're leaving money on the table, because frankly, if you're going to get your authority, in my opinion, you should be planning to expand anyway. You should be planning to turn into a real carrier. There are plenty of guys that run with Bennett, Landstar, and everything, and they have $100,000 houses. I mean more than that. They have $100,000 pickup trucks. They have $500,000 houses or $1 million houses, and they're doing just fine leased onto a carrier. So it is what it is right now, and we just hope and pray that this market improves and that everyone finds some kind of little honey hole somewhere to be able to ride this out. So thanks for stopping by Jackknife TV. Jackknife out.